everyone. My name is Bruce, and I stumble over my words when I'm trying to eat good pizza. I'm not even eating good pizza tonight. Tonight I'm eating Domino's, and that's okay. Hey, we're also going to paint some miniatures tonight too. We're going to try to finish these guys out. Anyway, here is my friend Kai for episode of Kai's Musings, and let's begin. Kai, should we start at the beginning, or do you want to talk about BattleTech terrain?
I'm not talking about BattleTech. Like, as much as it'd be fun to talk about BattleTech terrain, that would be actually. Well, we're gonna talk about it anyway, I guess.
We're gonna masturbate about it, and nobody will watch.
Doesn't matter. It's quite simple. I'm channeling a friend of ours who's unfortunately long past now, who built terrain for fun. Like you just go into the game store, he'd be sitting in a back table building papercraft buildings and terrain, and here I am trying to figure out how the hell to do what he did for fun, and now here I am covered in glue and paper and cardboard bits all over my house trying to figure out what he did just for fun. But yay, Elmer's white glue. I get to be a kid again. Because I want to make something that it doesn't look terrible once I hit it with spray paint. I hope.
Hungar's here. Hungar.
Hey, Hunger.
What are you talking about? I love BattleTech, he says.
I do too. And unfortunately, I've been looking for it, and nobody on the planet, outside of like model train builders, knows how to build a bridge and sell it. That has any length greater than 8 inches in length. I wanted to have a bridge that in Alpha Strike scale would be approximately the same width as the bridge over the River Seine in south of Paris, which is approximately about 120 meters in length, which would be approximately, in BattleTech terms, 4 hexes, or in Alpha Strike terms, 8 inches of the main span. 2 more inches on each side for overpass. So it'd be a grand total of a bridge of approximately 1 foot in length. You would think a 12-inch bridge plus ramps on each other side, which at a 30-degree slope or so, a 20 to 30 degree slope, would probably mean the grand total, the total width of the span would be about maybe about 16 inches, so a little over a foot and a quarter in length. Not a giant span. This bridge does not exist anywhere on the goddamn planet to buy, short of me going into HO scale model building. Yeah, like model train builders, sure, but I don't want to pay model train builder prices because I'm not that old or rich a white man.
I want to be that old rich white man. Yes.
I would like to be an old rich white man who's got a giant basement that I can build.
To build my own. In this video, you're going to see how I did it. I'll take you step by step through it. And
I know. Welcome. I too wanted to build a bridge, so I built a bridge, and so I'm just going for a standard pier bridge, and I don't have a lot of the cool tools that he's got. I have some cardboard I stole off a box from work, and some Elmer's glue. Heck yeah! And I needed to build this thing in about a week. I am now on day 5, and I finally figured out how to cut paper and cardboard into something that resembles the piers of a bridge, and I'm proud because I've got a miter box, I've got all that stuff, but I'm not building it out of wood because I don't have that kind of money.
That's cool looking.
Because deep down, I think I think players should have cool things to play with when they're playing. When they're having a fun game. I do need some popsicle sticks. But I also have approximately some nice heavy duty cardboard to cut around with. So that's good. And that's my 4 piers. I'll cut the ramps out tomorrow. Tomorrow, and then slap some Krylon textured paint on it, so it has that cardboard. So it has that concrete look to it. It won't be perfect, but this is I built it in a week project. I'm not trying to do anything cool. I just want to have a bigger bridge than what most heavy mechs can jump across in a single jump. So that way I can focus the entirety of the fighting along a certain corridor. So that way my players have to do shit, or maybe take either light jumpers or hovers, or hover tanks, because I want them to use more than just assault mechs. And since most of the terrain that you see, good night. Have a good night, Hungar.
And since God bless, man.
Yep. And most of the terrain that you see purchased are pretty much streams that are about 6 inches wide from bank to bank. And I know, because I've looked through all the boxes and all the preset stuff on the shelves, and came to most things are between 4 to 6 inches in width, which makes it a stream or a shallow creek. But then again, I have the curse of I live next to a semi-major river, or at least one that shows up on a globe. So
that's hilarious.
Well, I mean, okay, Bruce, we've lived in Peoria. Peoria and the Illinois is not a small river.
Nope.
And we also live within striking distance of the Mississippi, both the northern side and the southern side. Most of us have played around in the Ohio or the Missouri rivers, which are also big rivers. We don't get to play in small creeks.
No.
But yet I've been in some areas where they consider like the Mackinac a substantial body of water, and I'm like, the Mackinac's not the Mackinac's not a river. You can't sail on that bitch. So
no.
And off the air, I showed you my hometown of Logansport. Congrats, and you saw how small that town was. That's got a river, the Wabash. The Wabash is, when it floods, maybe 4.5, 5 foot deep. When it floods, on average, it's about a 2 to 3 foot deep river. It's not a real river. It's a stream, at least in my book. And so therefore, I don't really consider it, but those are the rivers that are, what most war game terrain is. It's like, hey, look, it's barely wider than most of our miniatures, but it's water. I'm like, yeah, this is that scene where you see a bunch of soldiers holding their rifles over their heads and walking through waist deep water. This is a river. No, that's not. You didn't die walking into that. But that's also, I really can't say anything. The Illinois looks really big. It's really shallow as fuck. But the mud is lethal deep. Like, there are parts of the Illinois where it's only 3 feet deep, but it's wider than shit, and that mud can eat you. Like, I know boaters are like, no, like, I hit the mud. I'm, like, when you bottom out your boat at 2.5 feet, and you're like, oh, I can just get out. I get out. Like, no, dude, don't get out. Why? You're in the Upper Peoria Lake. Do not get out of the get out of the boat. Why? You're gonna sink into the mud. You'll never get out. we'll have to haul you out, and you're gonna lose your shoes and probably your pants.
I came close to sinking into a pit of despair, best I could tell, because the only thing that kept me from sinking was the fact there was so many water plants beneath my feet. I didn't die.
Yeah.
That was my own stupidity, though. I decided to get out. Long story short, I lost a piece of somebody else's pole. Should have just cut the line.
Yeah, you should have. But yeah, no, what I'm talking about is upper and lower Peoria lakes, and the Illinois lakes, and they look impressively big. Like, they're beautiful to see. When you're like up on the bluffs looking out over the river, they're wonderful views. And until you realize that when you're boating on it, these lakes have been filled in by 2 centuries of farming. And so there's been an agricultural runoff into these lakes for decades, just for way over a century. And that silt is fine as hell. Like they just built a new bridge over on the north end of the city. Well, and
we were 24.
Yeah, we're 24. They took out the old span. It took almost a year to blow all the piers out, and it was explosions for like every month for like 8 months. It was great to watch, especially when they blew the old span and dropped it into the river. That was cool. That was really cool. But the thing is that I asked one of the engineers, like, how far do you have to drill the pilings down to reach bedrock to be able to sink it? They're like, oh no, the mud is about 45, 50 feet deep.
Shit.
Yeah, the silt is 45, 50 foot deep, and then they have to go another 40 feet below that to hit bedrock. So you get past the sand and glacial wash to hit rock is close to a 90-foot drop into the water, into the ground to get to solid land to be able to support the piers for the bridge. And I'm like, so you're talking about nearly 100 feet from the surface is where you hit ground. They're like, yeah, the Illinois River sucks to build on. That's why it's taking forever. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, I understand now. And that's when I realized people are like, oh, I'll just walk across the Illinois River. And I'm like, no, you won't. You're going to be walking across muddy silt. No. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get tired. You're going to lose all your shit. And then you're going to drown in mud.
Yep.
Illinois. Yeah. They blew the entire center span out last year.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now, mind you, the main channel is about 18, 19 feet deep. But everything that's not the main channel, it's just muck. Yeah, it's between 3 to 5 feet deep. But see, that's a river in my book. That's a legitimate, real target in my book. Like a real place you got to worry about. And yeah, and you can walk off the old pier and walk about 3 feet and end up in the channel off that. I am just north of there. But yeah, so in my brain, this is how rivers are supposed to look. Big, and then terrain is crap. Like nobody produces terrain like this. But then again, the bridge is also a mile long, so I'm so happy that span is open now. But it was so cool watching them actually move the center arch span into place over the channel, because that was done entirely by barges, and that was cool watching them float the thing in and then drop it into place. Yeah, that's an actual really old video of what's been going on here. Like, that might have been like last winter, actually. They
These two
haven't.
roads on the right-hand side. These two
Yep.
sets of 2 lanes. Those are gone.
Yeah, the center span's gone entirely now, and they're trying to finish up the main the ramps on the eastern side of the bridge, so that way they can shut down the new span and the old new span, and do the rehabilitation of the entire deck, which is going to be an entire year of that bridge being shut down too, because it needs rehab badly, because it's only 50 years old.
70.
The new span?
The old span is 70 years old.
Well, it was. It's gone now.
Wow.
Yeah, no. That's why I've been building terrain, because I'm tired of looking at trash designs, because everyone's just like, hey, congratulations. This thing right here. This is like the biggest bridge most war gamers get to play with. This little itty bitty span. And this little itty bitty span, this is what most of us war gamers have to work with. Like, this is our bridges that we get to play with. This is like the shit you see over a farmer's drainage ditch.
You know,
Yeah.
there was a toy back in the day called the Bridge Maker, the Bridge Layer, by Hasbro.
Yeah.
Fucking, that was a badass tank that would bring a mobile bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and you could actually drive your little G.I. Joe stuff across it. It's pretty badass.
I know. Now,
And then you're telling me that the little bridge you just were playing with, that little rinky-dink bullshit?
yeah. Okay. So what I'm working on, this right here is the road bed for what I'm working on for this for next week. Next week Valentine's Tech game. Note, see, this. The ramps I haven't finished building yet, so they're going to be over here on this side and this side. I've been building the piers that'll be on it, and then making sure that it's sufficiently high enough up to count as an entire level, to allow level 1 vehicles to travel underneath the bridge along the roads that will flank both sides of the river that will run down the middle of the span. So the river will be 8 inches, and there's 2 inches on each side, which will count as for vehicle traffic. So that way, combat vehicles will be able to hide under the bridge, while mechs will have to go up, over, and around to get this all taken care of. And I'm basing it on it won't look identical. I've already told people it's not going to be identical. Don't expect miracles from me. I'm not a miracle worker. But I'm doing work to make this so it can actually be playable. And because I want to have people be able to see what an actual river crossing might actually have to be like, and why it's important to have a fucking bridge. Well, I've got a mech. I can just walk through the water. I can do that. And I'm like, guys, have any of you read the underwater rules for this game yet? Like, no, not
No.
like, and I've purposely, I haven't been trying to teach them overtly, but I've been purposely showing that that walking through water is a bad thing by purposely walking myself into the stupidest situation, so that way I can purposely get hit and fall in the water and die on purpose. So that way it demonstrates to them why water bad.
People are stupid.
You'll
So
walk
just let-
through even with a mech. Oh,
No.
sorry. Go ahead.
But
Oh.
now, play the game. No, Bruce, what were we saying?
I was just saying, like, the idea of somebody walking through water and then not expecting to catch a leech or another problem. Maybe twist your ankle, fall in the water, be unable to get to your feet, drown. Just shit like that. That happens a lot.
Yeah. And that's without somebody shooting at you while you do it.
What I want to know is what have they been crossing when they think they could take something well over human weight on the bottom of a river? There are very, very few rivers, that even rocky rivers, that could withstand that weight without you sinking. And then even if they did, they know nothing about the undertow?
Okay, first off, you don't play BattleTech, so obviously the answer right there, solution is BattleTech is BattleTech is an old board game. Water depths are usually only level 0, level 1, level 2 maybe waters. Nobody ever plays in those and most maps are maybe creeks that are about 1 hex wide. 1 hex is about 30 meters, so it's a 30-meter wide area. So it's about 100-foot wide creek because it's depth 0, so it's not really deep. Okay. But occasionally you see a depth 1. Depth 1 is about a 10. It's anywhere between 5 to 10 meters in depth, which is you're going through a 30-foot deep water, and the game's got interesting things and fun little problems to it. It's a great, and the thing is that I'm building a scenario based on fuck nuggets. So I'm tired of playing all these. Okay, did I hit the microphone too hard? I did. There we go. I will restring it later. All right. So we've been playing around a lot of weird terrain, but I'm like, I want to build something, so the book, the Ill Clan, is set for the actual battle for Earth. The actual final battle for Earth, or at least the current final battle for Earth. And so I was just looking through it for fun, trying to figure out to build a scenario. And I stumbled across, not Geneva. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Redoubt Paris. And the thing is that the Paris map for the year 3150 is very close to the Paris map of today. As in, the roads are the exact same locations as they are today. Like, I can open up Google Maps and see exactly where
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Like, I can go and look up so I actually was looking where one of the major battles happens on day 60, between 45 and 60 of the invasion, which should tell you wow, this has been going for a while. Where the fighting around Paris is so heavy that it's south of Paris. I'm like, well, where's this happening at? And then open up the map, go and say, oh shit, it's happening legitimately in this suburb on this highway in this area. And then while looking through the area, I find a stretch of, because I was actually doing a lot of my initial planning for doing this bridge thing based off the idea of the I-74 University overpass, actually. And it's because the terrain around Peoria at that area, it would actually fits within about 3 map sheets of width from the graveyard to the other side of University. It's about a 2x3 map sheet, and I was trying to figure out how hard would it be to build the overpass at University and I-74. Wouldn't be too hard. I could probably build it in probably 3 weeks. Have it, I had to use a proxy for the USDA building and for the various farm bureaus and all of that, but that's some big, heavy reinforced brick, heavy brick buildings that players can jump on and shoot. The graveyard is pretty big. I can do all that, and then I was looking through the book trying to build a scenario, found found this spot south of Paris, and well, that's where the heavy fighting was happening. And then I found straight right there. Oh shit! There it was, 120 meter long, wide river. It's the Seine. It's got well-maintained straight river and straight lines of the river, so therefore easy to model. So all I gotta do is slap some blue down, put some trees on each side. It's got what I was hoping for, which was 2 roads that run along each side of the riverbank, so that way players can run along the road line behind the hedgerows of ancient trees, and all of the fire, so that way they can make crossings on either side of the bridge. The bridge is right there, and yeah, south of there, about 8 kilometers south, is a major interstate bridge, but the fighting wasn't there. The fighting was north, and I was able to track down where the arrows are at, find out, okay, this is the neighborhood. Railroad track, roads, bridge crossing, plains, open spaces for players to hide behind, or some terrain for indirect fire to be traded back and forth. And I'm like,
my dinner just arrived.
This is an actual map. So I took a screenshot, and bam, screenshot, turned it so that way the map was running vertical down the middle. Down the middle, bridge, map, terrain, roads, railroads. Throw in some intervening trees to provide, cover for players to run back and forth through, and done. I can have it I can go in early, pull the terrain I know exists out, put the bridge I've got down, throw some blue down, and call it a day, and go boom. There you go, guys. 6 of you can 3-on-3 have a go. Just trade fire. And do shit and do shots. And I'm like, well, what forces were there? And I'm like, if you want to know the actual truth, from day 30 of the invasion till day 75, when the fighting at Paris ends, there is everything from militia, partisans, regulars, elites, and the most crack troops of both sides are fighting in the southern suburb, at least at one point over the course of 45 days. You can choose whatever you want, do whatever you want, and then when the whole battle's over, if you want to do clan on clan fight, there's also the fight between the Falcons and the Wolves in the exact same area. So therefore, if you guys want to have Republic on clan, well, what about the Falcons? Falcons were there, Wolves were there, Republic was there, Partisans were there, militia was there. Everyone was in this area. Everyone was fighting over the course of at least 2 months. Everyone, and bam. I had a scenario that anyone could bring whatever the fuck they want and have terrain, and then I can just go, and now you guys know why you will have express orders of do not blow up the bridge. Why? Do not blow up the bridge. Everyone needs the bridge. The trucks need the bridge. Everyone needs the bridge. And I don't think anybody's going to bring enough engineers and pontoon bridges to build a pontoon bridge across the river. So don't blow up the bridge. Because I've been teaching them that you can blow up shit. And people are like, wait, I can blow up shit? Fuck yeah, you can blow up shit. And because they're used to just playing with Battletech, being like, oh, terrain's just terrain. We'll just do whatever the heck we want. And, I'm like, no, you can, if somebody's hiding behind a building, shoot the building. What? Shoot the building. If somebody's standing on top of a bridge, blow up the building. Blow up the building. Start a fire. Light the forest on fire. Throw smoke in mines so you can screw up all their strategies. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, you guys are playing way too boring. Let's make this game complex and horrible and full of hate. And they're like, you're just a hateful person. And I'm like, there's a reason why I wear this shirt usually to play Battletech, which it's never a war crime. No, it's always a war crime. We just haven't punished you yet for it. And we were in a tree saying, just please stop firing nukes. Oh, I don't know. I might. And that was just me having fun, because I'm tired of just playing these pickup battles over some minor hey, we're just gonna play a pickup game. I'm like, cool. And look at the terrain piles and go, it's the same shit every freaking week. I don't want to play the same shit anymore. I want to play with some really weird stuff. I want to play with dumb things. I want to play with the really cool stuff. I want a boat launch, and I want people to have just like, oh crud, I don't want to just conga line across this, this kill zone, and I'm like going, yeah, but we're playing a game, and I want you guys to suffer while playing it. We're friendly. No, we're not. We're not friendly. Like we act like we're friendly. We're not. Brutal, honestly, most of us are not friendly, and or actually, we're all really friends. But I'm like going, now that we're all good friends, now we can start being assholes to each other, which you really can't do when you're playing. Like, I don't know you very well, so I don't want to play. Like, no. We're past the feeling out, playing nice phase. Now we're getting to the let's be dicks because we want to laugh about it and phase, which is fun. Which I know, which some people are like, no, it's. And then there's like the people who play BattleTech, and they're always just like, oh no, I just want to play mech versus mech punch fights, and I'm like going, like, you want to play beer and pretzels. I want to fire an entire regiment of rockets at your face. One of us is, we're not the same. And it's fun because I don't want them to become me, but I want them to experience that the game can be so much more. And that's why I'm building terrain for them, because this game can be so much more. And that I lose on purpose so that way they can have more fun. And it's fun. They don't need to know I'm losing on purpose. But each time I lose, I'm actually teaching them something that I've done to other people. And I'm going, this is what you got to watch out for. I don't tell them that. I just do it, and then let them figure out that I'm actually teaching through getting my ass kicked on purpose. Because I don't have to play hard, but I can. And here's what you need to look out for when I start playing serious, and it's okay.
Yeah. What I hear in my head when Kai says some of this stuff is, you play Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I play, what the fuck was that? Napoleon 2.0. We are not the same.
In short, but the thing here is that I can also play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and I have so much fun by having a retard of. So okay, so about 3 months ago now, we ended up playing a scenario because the club president was actually out that week, so the week before, and so we ended up playing a game called that we ended up secretly calling Oops All Phoenix Hawks, and so everyone brought a model of Phoenix Hawk. So the guy who was actually the club president, he showed up. He brought a real mech. So all we told him was, here's the point value, and so he brought an actual unit, and we all brought a bunch of idiots driving the exact same mech, or at least variants of the same mech. And so everyone showed up with, oh, I see you brought a Phoenix Hawk. I did bring a Phoenix Hawk. I see you too also brought a Phoenix Hawk. And so it was an oops all game. Well, so one guy saw the homework and decided to put a 0-0, the best pilot in the entire universe. There's going to be nothing better than him, in the most advanced, most powerful, most super vehicle version of it possible, with the best pilot. So that way it was the maximum point value possible. And I had a slightly advanced one, and then I had the original like the original TRO from 1987 model of it, which was the most basic retard, no frills, Dawn of Time version of the mech possible. And everyone else was like having all these cool refits and shit. And so the guy with the most coolest thing, best pilot ever, was realizing that everybody else was faster than him and was ganging up on him. He walked backwards to the edge of the map, and then I had this guy who was pretty much the worst pilot possible, and the worst guy possible just run like a retard straight at him, like just fucking like put his head down because he'd already been hit in the head once, so his head was dented in. He had no armor on his head. He just ran straight in there like a fucking retard. He'd lost his arm already, so he had no weapons, and he just was like, boom, football shoulder charge right into this elite super mech, and then knocked them both off the map. Sorry, the retard didn't go, and the retard didn't go off the map, but the elite guy did. And since he went off the map, he lost. And it was like oh my god! All we heard was this retard as this guy goes, boom, just charged him right off the map, and like that should never have happened. And I'm like going, retard wins, retard strength wins. And this game is dumb for stupid shit like this. And I can play all these cool advanced rules, and the game is so retarded, and I love every second of it because we had a guy who's like, I'm going to hide this mud puddle. He found the one hex that
Oh. So, keeping on the theme of retarded games, I've recently seen a game I don't know if I want to play because it's more role play heavy than anything. Not so much I have a problem with that as it's a game called Aneurysm 4, and the whole basis of the game, even the events in it, is just to be a role player, and it genuinely it's like a paranoia style game where you're literally harvesting people for their organs. The doctors literally harvest people, grind them up, and turn them into medicine.
Yeah. That's an interesting game.
I'll see it. I'll track down the original video I seen it from and put it in Discord at some point. Oh,
I do like
Bruce found it. Yeah. It genuinely looks interesting. I mean, it's definitely one of those games that's more meant for role play above all other things.
Right.
And it's so interesting. Some of the things I like is the clip of what's he? I think the Reggie. Fuck, I watch him. I end up seeing him mostly through a VTuber I occasionally watch. Yeah, Reggie. That's the guy. He runs around with a business suit and a slime drop for a head. He's the one that introduced the video, and he explains all the classes, and you end up with like 0 social points. You'll end up a slave, but for certain social points, you can be a doctor, you can be a security guard, like all kinds of things. It's kind of hard to explain without actually playing the game, so you have a good idea of how to explain it. If that makes sense.
That is a weird game. So it's kind of an action shooter?
Kind of. Well, there are events where you go out and you're building bombs where you can get destroyed, like blown up in the bombs. There's food day where if you cut in somebody's line and take their food, you are likely to get barbecued by one of the body disposal characters, which is what their purpose is, exactly what it sounds like. They get rid of the bodies in the streets, otherwise the city can start rotting, which can empower the cultists. It gets you can you can actually set there's an in-game market. I don't know how exactly it works because the guy didn't explain that part. But what he did explain is that you can take advantage of it and make a player-based market where he buys a medication, a particular medication, and then make sure nobody else sells it at a 250% increase.
Interesting.
Excuse me. All right. Let's see here. Excuse me. Let's see.
I know there was something else I was talking about before the terrain building thing, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah. Huh. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I also do a bunch of other. I also wrote a bunch of other stuff over the last couple weeks, I think. I don't know. I got on a creative kick, but I know I'm never going to be able to run. I run all the things I want to run.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Mm-hmm. But I also know that writing anything for sci-fi, let's be honest, that's not an option for most people. Most people look at sci-fi and just kind of go, I don't want to know that.
I'm working on a little project for a Call of Cthulhu style game. I'm calling it Eldritch Roots. You are playing in the post-apocalypse where an eldritch tree has appeared on the planet and it has spread. You can play one of three classes. I am adding a slightly Christian connotation to this, where you can play paladin, a cleric, or I'm calling them inquisitors, but they're basically zealots. Those are basically your magic wielders. You have your bruisers, which are the I forgot what I called them, but basically they're people who have been mutated with roots. So they're your combat effective ones. And you have your average day person, which falls under the category of your normal Cthulhu rules, because the other two have sanity resistance rules. Your normal person doesn't. But your normal person can also take the occasional mutation and still have spells. Mind you, you still have the same issues. It's supposed to be a trade-off of what you can give, because if you're the roots people, you end up losing your humanity slowly and can become what is known as the rooted, which are people who have just become wild animals. In this case, you could very easily equate what you'll find in the world to Elden Ring or Dead Souls or Dark Souls. Not necessarily in that you're going to die constantly, but in what it's going to look like. And then on the religious side, you don't go insane from knowing spells because I forgot what book describes it, but describes the Sisters of one of the 40K books describes the Sisters of Battle as all being absolutely batshit insane. But their faith is so damn powerful, it literally holds their sanity together. It's kind of the same concept for the religious side of this book, or this game I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But it will have sci-fi elements, because I'm not entirely sure what era in humanity's history the roots took place, because you can find places where it's nothing but brick buildings and you would have had to go, then you can even see carts, horse carts and buggies where cars should be, and yet you can find other areas where you will literally find a laser gun. So nobody's entirely sure what happened.
Yeah.
Admittedly, at this point, even I don't know what has happened, other than it's a giant tree.
You don't need to.
I have determined the tree itself is not sentient. I kind of don't want that in the story, just because that feels a little bit overplayed. Oh, it's some elder creature. No, it just exists, and you can take advantage of it.
Have you put much else beyond that into it?
Well, given the fact especially given the fact I'm leaning into the Christian base for the religious quote unquote magic, I am thinking about having a corruption mechanic, which is, if I add it, it's not because the tree, like I said, once again, the tree itself is not sentient, but the tree has discovered basically hell, and corruption has started to bleed into the roots. And I'm thinking of it slowly, because I want to make sure I have a good basis of what I want to do before I start putting pen to paper, quote unquote. Because I ended up rewriting the Skyship book more times than I care to count. Not like a full rewrite, but like things I didn't think about, or things like, oh, well, that doesn't sound as good as I thought it did, and blah, 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 blah. So I really want to take my time before I start really writing anything down for this.
Not bad. Not a bad idea.
I do know I want to have a grand total of, I'm thinking 7 classes. I was originally thinking 3, 3, and 3, but really within the normal humans, you can just basically pick your atypical Cthulhu jobs, policemen, things like that. Because even though this is after the apocalypse, there's still enough civilization you can have those things. But within the other 2 categories, you'll only have 3. You'll have the within the rooted. I still need to come up with a better name because that's what they're called after they've gone insane. You will have the bruiser, which is exactly what it is, what it sounds like. It's the one that does all the damage and can take the damage. You'll have the speed freak, which is the one that moves the quickest, but better hope nobody gets his hands on it, because it will not survive long if it gets hit. And then you'll have the combination of the 2. Big surprise. Well, on the religious side of things, you have basically the full-blown wizard, which is the Inquisitor, because he's completely, absolutely batshit insane with his religion, and is capable of casting basically the equivalent of religious magic. You have the cleric, which is your combat medic. Big surprise. Just kind of stealing that one. And then you have your your bruiser of the batch, which is the paladin. But he also specializes actually in being your buff tank, where the cleric will do your healing. Your paladin is one who's going to be giving the party the ability to stand their ground the best.
Do you really need the classes?
I still have to delve deeper into the Call of Cthulhu game setup, because I haven't read it that deep yet. But I'm going to base it more off of how they word it and they do it, which means if there are no classes, then it's going to be. I'm going to try to make it as Call of Cthulhu as possible, while bringing as little of my bias of how a game should be into it as possible.
Okay.
So I still need to delve deeper. I'm just using the term class as a basic sense of what I'm thinking.
Okay. I was just following along, so.
Oh, no, I'm being honest. That's.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make a Call of Cthulhu game, I need to stick with the Call of Cthulhu theme as much as possible, which means if it doesn't technically have classes, then it doesn't have classes.
I mean, are you actually going to use are you actually using the Call of Cthulhu engine?
Yes, I have. I have only found a copy of Call of Cthulhu 7. I cannot find a copy. It's oddly enough, like I've heard 7's the best, but 10's not bad either. But either way, 7's the only one I've been able to actually find a copy of.
That's also the one that's currently in print. That's why.
Ah, okay.
That's the important thing. Is that's the one that's in print. It's kind of like when I was talking to somebody about I would like to play Traveler, run Traveler. But the thing is that yeah, I could totally run like Mega Traveler or an earlier version of Traveler, but the thing is that that's great for me if I'm the one being the only one running it and everybody has to use my books and I'm the only font of knowledge. But if other players who are coming into it want to buy books too, they don't have an option to buy anything. They can go rummage through backstock in some games, which at a game store, which might have an incomplete collection. Go on to eBay, go on to pirating on online, and piece together what they have, what they need, and what they have. Or if you have players that want to actually buy books and have them in their hands and in demand, playing the current edition that's actually in publish being run is kind of what we have to do. It's kind of the problem I had when I was trying to run Seven Seas for a while. I love First. First has been out of print for decades now. And second is actually going out of production. Third, and a new third edition is coming in, which means I would probably be best running second to third, even though I love first. And which would mean that if I was same thing if I'm going to run L5 Legend of the Five Rings first edition, I kind of dread the idea of if I ever wanted to run that again, that I would have to give my players access to books that are irreplaceable, honestly.
Yeah.
And they would have to I have 2 copies of the first edition rule book, one that's my copy and one that I give my players. The one that I give my players is pages are falling out of it. Things are just some of them are in bad shape because my players have used them all the time. Well, now I got to hand over books that I can't get without buying them on through eBay again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to rebuild my Battletech collection because I loaned out books that I've never gotten back, and some of these they're out of print. So you wanting to run well, I can go with second edition. I 6th edition. Why? 7th edition's the current model. I mean, unless you get a bunch of old players who are like, yeah, I really like X edition of the game. Well, cool. We can play that edition if you're willing to, if you're willing to give up your books. But a lot of people who got those older books aren't too eager to pony them up for everybody else to use. And in the end, you need to have everybody else being able to be on the same page. And unless you're cool and are like, yeah, PDFs are totally okay, but at that point you've opened the Pandora's box of, well, now you're letting phones and tablets and laptops onto your table because that's where all your books are at, and suddenly you risk distractions and things happening because you have phones. But if you're one of those, I need everyone to be paying attention, no phones, no nothing, you gotta have books. Well, you gotta have books that are available, and that means current edition. We're playing with whatever's currently in print and what's purchasable. So it's that thing of, the more you want to run an old game, an older out of print edition, and yet you still want to have nobody with cell phones, you suddenly have to have, you're supplying the books at that point, because you can't expect your players to pony up to buy out of print shit so they can play your game. You might get lucky and get a Baron G Rock who sits on your table and you brought a cool book with you, and Baron looks at it and goes, that book is awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he's got the entire book collection now. And you're like, oh, fuck. He's like, yeah, it was totally cool. I bought all of it. And that could happen, but you can't expect that. And when I showed up with a certain book and then Baron bought the entire all the books that were in that series that were released at that point, and he had it all like organized in a big giant box, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. He goes, I really like that thing that you showed me. And I'm like, you're cool. You're crazy. That's also Baron for you. And there was more than a few games that Baron bought that he did that. Like you would bring a book and then he would buy it because he thought it was awesome and he wanted a copy too. But the thing is that I also know a lot of my players that I either run for or GM for don't have a lot of money, or they're playing other hobbies or doing other things, or they're not going to go out and buy $180 in books because they want to play what you got. They're going to use your shit. They might buy one or two modules that fit what they're playing. They might buy the handbook for their class, but that's going to be it. Core book and a handbook, but that's going to be it. Yeah, so I mean, it's cool as hell. I'm glad that you are thinking about it, but I am just buy the current edition, build for the current edition, because that's the one everyone's going to have.
Well, I thought. Well, I do know that there was a 10th edition. I did not know that was not considered the current edition, though.
You might do the research, figure out which ones you need.
All right. Yeah, well, I haven't actually purchased anything yet. I actually found a free non-downloadable copy I can look at for 7th edition, so I can at least look at that before. But yeah, I definitely need to find out which is the most current played edition. Because at least according to Heathen Dog, for some reason I want to call him 3 Dog. The 10th edition wasn't that like different from 7th edition. Not as much as he was expecting, I think. Shit. I'll go back through their catalog and I could probably get a link to the exact book, and then I don't know. I research for exactly what is popular, other than asking Google, has never been my strong suit.
Right. No, you were probably misremembering like the 20th edition, the 20th anniversary edition that happened was the 01. But like I said, Chaosium, you're looking at literally being 7th edition, being the current edition. So, I mean, unless you want to go really far back. So, and I don't really know how far back you want to go, but then again, I like Delta Green, so.
Played a lot of Delta Green and COC back on the day.
Delta Green's a fantastic game. It's Call of Cthulhu, but better.
Yeah, I feel it is. I feel it's very, very, very superior to regular COC. And I love COC 5. I love 5th edition.
But I also like that version because it's just a it's MIB but better. It really is Men in Black, but way better. Plus the fact that you get to be the evil conspiracy that's been secretly in the background of manipulating mankind for everywhere, because oh shit, this stuff's actually real. But don't worry, we're the government. We're still fucked, but we're the government. And I can get way behind the idea of a bunch of government guys, and you get a phone, like you're working in accounting, you get a phone, your cell phone beeps, and oops, time to go. What's going on? End of the world. Where are we going off to? Someplace in, I don't know, rural Arkansas. That's where the current problem is. And you get to figure out what you're going to do by bringing the full power of the government against eldritch powers, and it's great. What are you doing? Call it National Guard. Why? National Guard can handle this. They can't. We can't handle this. They got more guns than us. And then the CIA guy shows up and goes, "Fuck you! I've got more guns than the government than the military does." How? Fuck you. That's why. Please tell me you don't just drive around with Stinger missiles in your trunk. then I won't tell you. I mean, hell, I use that line at work actually. They're like please tell me that you got this, and I'm like, do you want me to lie to you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I won't lie to you.
I just double check. You were right, Kai. I completely misremembered. 7th edition is the current edition.
I was about to say, I'm like,
And by the looks of what I was saying, it's probably the most popular currently too.
Yeah, because it's also been around for over a decade, and they haven't updated the rules. I mean, that's the important thing is if you don't constantly change the rules all the time, you get people that get loyal.
Yeah.
And the closest thing you're going to get to class is what job you had before all the shit went wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, so the idea that you're going to create like 3 classes that kind of go into the game, and it kind of had this hurt of things might go weird here. So, but I also like it's also a fun game. So.
Well, Call of Cthulhu has admittedly always kind of interested me. As much as I would like to say, oh, I could make a game for anything, that's genuinely not true. Bear may be able to sit there. Well, I could make a game for D&D, but I don't want to, and then chooses to anyway. I'm going to sit here and say I couldn't do it just because it doesn't interest me. Call of Cthulhu genuinely interests me.
Yeah, well, at that point, like you don't need to make a Call of Cthulhu game. Write a Call of Cthulhu adventure. So I tell some terrible, horrible story that's going to be about a group of individuals and how they're going to handle it. Because there's a lot of horror out there, and just or just surviving in a world where you have it, like, tell that story about the horrible monster trees that really that's not quite The Last of Us, but has similar veins to it, where people go insane because of their exposure to the tree. That's actually very much in line with the mythos, where you can start pulling in other weird monsters, other creations into the horror that's going to happen. And you could actually have that one be a really cool story, where people are trying to survive in a world where exposure to this tree drives you insane, but you can't really do anything about the tree, or can you? But that's the whole point of the horror, is this perpetual look of, in the background, there's this thing that's happening. There's like this other short story where the world was terrible until the trees arrived. And then you're like, wait, what? And you don't need to go into, when did the trees arrive? No one knows. No one really cares. Or no one has the ability to tell you. Or nobody who the players are starting as know when the trees arrived. It's not important. Society fell. You don't need to know how long ago it happened at. And you could just open up with the line of, and then the trees arrived. And like, what happened with the trees? Well, the trees ended civilization. And it killed people. It drove people insane. It leached resources. It mutated people. And you can bring a little bit of esoteric magic into the idea of, so you want to have that little Christian aspect. Well, look into the magic powers and this idea that some people have been tapping into something, and that gives you the cool abilities to bring that into the game and to have that be there. It's where you're looking at you need to be a little bit insane to survive in the world that's been created for you to live in. And that's that alone could be a cool enough story to go with. You don't need to write a whole new engine to do it. Now, say elsewhere, I've been sorry to hijack this, but I mean, I know that I've been kind of wanting to write a sci-fi setting, but I know that I could probably get by with using Traveler as my engine for it because, well, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. A little bit, maybe. I might add a few new classes, a few new races, and some shit and some more ships. Add in a few new mechanics, but I would be adding to a system rather than rewriting it. I mean,
Yeah. Well, admittedly, I wasn't planning on rewriting. I was just basically planning on stealing it verbatim. I was just using the terms I did because they're the ones I'm used to.
right.
But the big thing is the reason why I've been, like I said, I'm willing to bet if I look hard enough, I'll find the systems I'm working on out there somewhere already. The reason why I'm making my own there is because I have to agree with Max Liao. Setting and he says setting should inform the rules or something like that. But basically, the setting and the rules should fit with each other quite well.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to make a Call of Cthulhu style game, I don't need to remake the bicycle. It's already there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In short, yeah, and he's right on the money, and I know I could put in a lot of work to go try to do something crazy with what I've been imagining, and there are parts of the system I am going a bit mad over, but that's because of the fact that because I know when some people write fantasy, the idea that you need a consistent magic system to make it work. Much like when you write sci-fi, the rules of the world has to be consistent, or it loses its ability to be interesting. And you need to understand what you're writing. So if you're adding magic, understand that you don't need to explain it to the readers or your players immediately, but understand how the magic works. So that way you're consistent in your running. When you're running science fiction, things have to work. It's the whole reason why I had my problem 2 weeks ago when I was talking about why I don't like the modern Disney thing, is because, well, remember, I'm a gearhead. I'm at my core somebody who's a naval engineer. I care a lot about travel times, logistics, travel. I care about the manufacturing, the corporations, the things that don't matter for most people. Most people just need space wizards who have laser swords, and the ship is their ride. I'm the guy who cares about how the ride was built, how the ride is maintained, and if somebody says there's 25,000 Star Destroyers, I want to know how those 25,000 Star Destroyers are built, maintained, and work. And then how someone goes, well, there's 25,000 Star Destroyers. And I'm like, yeah, but there's also 1,000 sectors. And 1,000 sectors require this many ships. And then you start dividing out the number of ships, and then you start figuring out rotation times and, the for every one that you have in service, you have one that's in repair and one that's being worked up to go out. So that 25,000 becomes a smaller number, and then suddenly you realize there's now 8 ships to patrol 1,000 to patrol 100 worlds, and then suddenly you're going, oh, I need more, and then suddenly 25,000 isn't enough. And then you start filling in the blanks of, okay, there's patrol lines, others escorts, and you start to fill out the Navy, and then suddenly, but why is all that important? Because I'm a smuggler player. I play the guys who sneak around in the background smuggling. I need to know how the enemy works, which means suddenly I'm now an expert on how the fleet operates, on how the Imperial Navy operates, because I want to be a better smuggler. And as a GM, I want to be able to run an effective game for smugglers. I like playing starfighter pilots. I need to understand how the Imperial Naval Fighter Doctrine works to make starfighter combat interesting and not just simply vomit out 72 TIE fighters are launched by a Star Destroyer. Well, then you realize, no, some of those are bombers, some of those are interceptors, some of those are standard TIE ends, TIE INs. Then you get to figure out, well, which one of those, how many of those were going to be the elites? What are the current models? What are the current variants? Are we looking at an older model Victory that's only got 2 squadrons on board? Or is it a full wing off of an Imperial? Is it an escort carrier out there? And then you start figuring out all this. Why do I care about this? Because I want my players who are playing fighter jocks to have a really good fighter time and not just and have a really cool time when they're in their fighters, rather than just simply go, blah, I don't know how airplanes work. Bleh. When I have players come to me and go, I want to play, a former rebel, as a former clone trooper who's cool. Now I need to know how to make the Imperial garrisons work and how the Imperial Army works and how the Stormtrooper Corps works to make it a more interesting combat. Kind of when I'm playing running a World War II RPG, I kind of need to know how the Germans operate to make the Germans work, or how the Soviets work, so that way the Soviets feel right, and how the British and how the Americans work to make them operate cool. And as much as the jokes are there, the Italians aren't as bad as you think they are, so you make them interesting. Or the Japanese, you gotta learn all the factions to be able to do it. And so therefore I care about travel time. I care about the communication delays. I care about how Imperial intelligence operates. I know way too much now about all this stupid shit because, well, I want to run a better game. I don't need to know any of this shit. And obviously, when I sit and listen to how most people play, they don't know this shit. And I've sat at tables with people who are, like, hey, cool, this guy's a vet. He'll know shit. No, obviously he didn't know shit. And then you talk to him. Oh no, he was, and like, but that was okay. He ran the encounters the way he needed to. It got the story across. I'm shooting for a much different game because, unfortunately, I don't say unfortunate, but I know that's where my brain heads. I guarantee you that if I ran a smuggler campaign and none of you are, and there wasn't a single one of you who had a laser sword. Well, one of you got a laser sword, but if it was a smuggler campaign, it's going to be a really odd, interesting, different game, because that's kind of where I would prefer it to be. But then again, if I run a steampunk campaign, Age of Sail, Age of Steam, the game is going to be very different and it will feel better. And I want it to be close to being right. And if I'm going to run a 1990s set era government abuse simulator game, Delta Green, it's going to be a bonkers game, because I want to have players slowly uncover the idea that there actually is a covert cabal of lizard people who are eating children, and you're the ones who are uncovering. And because they're all serving the return of a dark god who's going to eventually arise themselves, and maybe, just maybe, you might be able to stop it, or slow it down, or delay it till at least the next election, and go forward with that. And players who are cool will be on board for that, because, hey, we're not going to stop the apocalypse. We're just going to slow it down. You can't stop it. It's never going to. You can delay it. Hopefully, maybe till next election, and then then it's somebody else's problem. And then can I make it to retirement? Yes. Okay. Good. Problem solved. Problem staying solved.
That's something I miss hearing a lot.
Was that?
Problem solved. Problem staying solved.
It's a good phrase. I love it. And it's just so much fun having this kind of interplay and working with it. And but I know that I'm putting a lot of work into the sci-fi setting that if I was to never, ever, ever run it, it would be a lot of fun for people who are also like me, who are gearheads, who are shipbuilders, who are techno junkies and engineers, but I know I'm writing a game for people who are who never see the sunlight and are wearing oil stained jumpsuits, because that's how I think, that's how I am, and I know that most games don't give anything to those. They don't. I swear every RPG kind of pushes anybody who's a wrench turner into a corner and just say wrench turners are their own people and they just live in their over here. We're all cool over here doing cool things, and all the technicians and engineers are all squished over here into this corner, and never shall we talk about them. They are in their own special book that nobody buys, and we don't talk about them. I swear that's every role-playing game right there. Are you the engineer? Yes. Congrats.
Yeah.
You don't exist.
Engineers don't do well.
No. Engineers don't do well. Sensor operators and communication, like engineering, sensors, and communications don't fucking like. They are some of the most important people who get no screen time and do nothing in any role-playing game. And they should be some of the most important people. And nah. Hey, what do you do over here? Yeah, here's the morning communications. And like everybody else is off doing cool things and having fun, and nobody talks about the guys who actually do the real work. Unless you're reading Hunt for October, then they're amazing for about 3 chapters, and that's about how it works. But I know, because I'm when I'm playing playing Traveler, it's like engineers are real. I at least give Traveler credit. There's a lot more for engineers to do. Are you a techno junkie? There's a lot of things to do, and you got a lot of cool things. In fact, you can probably have a game where everyone's an engineer and still have 100 things going wrong on a ship and everybody having fun, and nobody who's actually in charge knows what the fuck's going on down there. And it would be the greatest game ever. Like, where are we going? Don't know, don't care. And it's like you just have a fun time. But those people don't get any fucking attention at all in a role-playing game. I know, though, that I'm unfortunately writing something that's for the people who design shit and who build stuff and who fix things, because I know it's boring as fuck. But damn it, it could be fun. But I know better. It doesn't involve it doesn't involve pew pew blasters and other shit. But it sounds too much like work, and nobody wants to role play work. I understand that.
I don't know. I've been trying to convince Bruce to let me do Dwarf Fortress Simulator 2000.
Oh, really?
Well, I keep talking about wanting to build my own little settlement, and
Right.
well, like I've said before, in this case, be self-sufficient off of cheating adventurers out of their money before they enter Rapanafuck.
Right.
Well, if I can, it's actually going to be like built up somewhat. Well, it's in a swamp, so I don't know if I can do it dwarfy, but it's going to be built up in the best I can to make it. Actually, I don't know if it's a swamp. I don't know why I got swamp in my head. I haven't been down there yet.
You haven't gotten there yet?
Well, I could, quote unquote, force it, but I'm trying very hard to get enough credit with the Traders and Coasters Guild that I can convince them to fund a expedition down there for me?
You'll find out when you get there.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not to mention, I will admit, especially after finding out how much higher level stuff starts costing, it's like, well, maybe I don't have enough to build a city out of the blue.
No, you don't. No one does.
The fact that you could walk around Zen Shalast and peel all the platinum up from the city roads and all the city chest high walls and such. That could be one of the campaigns you do while you're doing urban renewal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Build more chest high walls everywhere. What are you designing the city for? Cover and concealment. The entire city is designed for this. So everything's just hallways with lots of cover? Yes. Why? Because I plan on fighting in my own town. That's dumb. I'm like, no, I live in a world where there are chainsaw wielding bad evil monsters and zombies. So I need my town to be able to allow me to survive that.
Buy that for $1.
Honestly, that's one of those things where you would kind of think it's like, oh, every town's designed like it's for the modern day, and where everything's peaceful and wonderful. And how often have we been, we think like Americans with like wide open streets with no problems, maximum speed traffic everywhere, but you don't live in a world where you have orc invasions or undead swarms or giant armored cow-sized land sharks that just run through the area periodically, or whatever the heck other monster you want to have. So how would you design a town that was designed from the onset with the idea that D&D monsters exist and you need to not be murdered by them? Because I'm sorry, most people, if I knew that if I went 5 miles outside, like 5 miles down Farmington Road and out into the countryside, that suddenly, dire wolves, laser sharks, and giant doom birds will fly out of the cornfields and eat me if I go 5 miles that way from where I currently live. I think my town would be a bit better designed than like once you pass the graveyard, you get a nice view of the creek valley, and there's just but it's mostly trees, so you won't see the horde to the last second. And I'm like, why would anyone we live in a peaceful place where that's just normal? But if you literally lived in a land where shit like this is common enough that we have to have bulletin boards of, hey, there's a goblin den outside town, I need to pay somebody $300 to go out there and kill the goblins, or hey, there's a necromancer who's moved into the town next door, could you go take care of that? If you have a bulletin board, because I want to see I could imagine what a bulletin board would look like, where you're going, hey, there's a bake sale there's a bake sale next Sunday, there's the local cleric tavern's having a potluck, and also bugbears and owlbears are out there, and on the same bulletin board, and you're like, okay, sure. And yet somehow we run these games like we're supposed to be living in this is just normal. I just go to work every day and just realize that at some point a 10-foot tall 10-foot tall feathered bear owl with antlers is going to walk through town and murder half of everybody, but I can't do anything about it. Because he's going down the the main boulevard, which is 4 wagons wide, so that way there's plenty enough room for him to be able to throw a wagon through my front window. Wait, what? Nah. This is totally cool. Everyone's chill with it. 14 people died. It's okay. We'll get more. What?
Yeah, let us auto spawn next week.
Yeah. More will move in next week. Well, what's going to happen next week? Oh, that's when the dragon's going to attack. We have dragons in the area. Oh yeah, he comes through about once a year for taxes.
Mind you, we never have the money for the taxes, so it's a guaranteed attack, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, I know. He's going to burn down everything. And, well, what do we do to stop this? Oh, we hire hobos. We put a bulletin board saying, looking for hobos. Armored hobos. It's cool. And that's okay. That's normal. Man, I know the Dark Lord has built a castle in the next county, but that's 3 weeks away. We don't need to worry about that. Let's just continue to bake bread, move pigs, and make shirts, because we can't stop it. Could we build a wall or something? Why? The monsters the Dark Lord's just gonna go through the wall. Why build anything? Because I don't want to die? Oh, everyone's okay with death. No, I don't want to die. Don't worry. We've guaranteed that if we all live miserable lives where we're constantly going to get killed, we'll be rewarded by the great sky god who will protect us. No, he's just going to make sure we'll have a better life in the next life. But I'm dead. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If we're lucky, some hobos are going to show up with some cash and bring everybody back to life. This is dumb. This is retarded. Civilization shouldn't exist like this.
Oh, you know the best part?
Yeah.
When you respawn, when someone respawns, they'll technically have your soul and all your memories, but you can't do anything about it.
Well, that sucks for me. Yeah, it does. Don't worry, you'll roll better in the next life. What? Oh, hey, I want to go from Peoria to Metamora. Okay, cool. Careful. You need to look out for the Mad Max horse caravan raiders that exist halfway there. What? Yeah, that's just a normal thing. They're just bandits. They have armored death chariots and wagons. They'll run you down. That's dumb. That's why. Why do we live like this? I don't know. Why don't they just come over here and attack us? Because, our town has no walls, no defenses, and no guards. They don't want to. They only murder people who leave town. So don't leave town. Oh, this place sucks. This world sucks. And you wonder why I always play an adventurer who comes in, looks at the shit-stained dumpster fire of a world that most GMs throw up, and then wonder, I could do better. I can build better. I can make this world great. But I can't, because the GM's retarded. Why are you retarded, GM? And the GM, I'm brilliant. This is my world. I'm fucking amazing.
Sleep deprivation.
What was that?
Sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation goes a long way to explain why 3/4 of this shit happens. I have no time. My job sucks. I'm running the game. Just play the fucking game. But I have opinions on the socioeconomic dumpster fire that is your world. Shut up and play the game. Okay, I will shut up and play the game. But luckily, as I've gotten older, for a while there, I was like, shut up and play the game. Then I got I can fix the world. And now I'm back down to shut up and play the game. But I'm still gonna look for hacks and dumb things to exploit it. Because if I can build an empire, I think I've actually got to the point now where I've built enough empires where I don't want to actually build another empire. But I can, and I will. But no, I think I just want to play. I want to play more retired retired midlife crisis guy on a space RV, just cruising through space and going, "Not my problem. This world sucks. I'm going on to the next one. Please tell me you got fuel here." No, but we got a gas giant. Good enough. Park in orbit, find a bunch of retards and enjoying their 1950s laser and nuclear fest down there, and go, yeah, let's go somewhere else. But we have a spaceship. No, we have a Dorito. We have a Dorito with a sandblaster on it. We're not ready for that. We're not ready to take on that planet. We could. No, we're not. Let's come back and we have 2 Doritos. Then we can do it.
Okay.
And go floating off into space, because fuck it, we're in space. I mean, I want to be able to go somewhere, do something, enjoy something, because supposedly I have a D&D game I could be part of, and supposedly if we ever, have free time and the GM can actually run, we'll actually play, and there's an actual plot. But it's only once every 6 months that everyone has time and they all play for one session. And I'm like, that was great. When's the next session? About 6 months. This isn't a game. This is an excuse to smoke and drink and bullshit for 6 hours. I'll see y'all later. And that's why I play BattleTech and Traveler rather than playing D&D, because nobody wants to play. I want to play it, and some people, but nobody really wants to, because there's like one group of people who were talking about it, and that game's more like we're playing a Nomine rather than D&D, because I think we all kind of realize that we're going way too philosophical about it, so we stopped playing D&D, and now it's something way cooler. Right. Then we have Exalted and Traveler, which is like Exalted which is its own Mage the Ascension craziness that's over here. We're all having fun with that. And every once in a while, somebody's like, I could run D&D, and we're like, and suddenly you have a bunch of people who perk up and go, do tell. And suddenly we're all talking about, sending suicide sparrows who explode upon, when they get too close. And the GM goes, I don't want to play this. I don't want to run for you anymore, because all you guys are talking about is one of you is acting like you want to be a walking aircraft carrier that sends kamikazes at people. I'm like, that's me. I understand. I also want to summon elementals and shit. Like, okay, you shut the fuck up. Like, okay, and everybody else is doing their own stupid shit, and that's great. But man, I don't know. We're all having fun, and it's a lot of fun doing stupid shit and being creative and fun. And then there's me who goes, I could do some stuff, and no, I can't. Well, I can, but I won't. Or maybe I can, and I do. And then we all realize we don't have the time to play your game. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the idea that nobody's got the free time to play the game that I want to. It's a cool idea, but nobody wants to play it because none of us have the time to invest. That's okay. Because I know I could run a detailed campaign full of paperwork. But that's never going to happen. Sorry, I took all the air out of the room.
No, it's good. I was just thinking, like, the first thing I thought of when you said, I don't want to run for you guys anymore. I got what I pretty much heard what I expected for Kai. The walking aircraft carrier, got it. Then I was expecting, you want to be a big daddy, okay. You want to be Sue from Monster Museum, got it. And the rest of you, Skaven, got it.
We'd have a great time. That would be a great game. I think it would be hilarious. The entire walking up there and just, sending suicide explosive animal companions and summon creatures that blow up, when they get close to someone because you're using certain spells that explode your pet, your summons. When they get, you're just suicide detonating things. that was a cool idea. And someone's like, that's horrible. And I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. And, playing an animal tamer where because I've already done this character where I went to every town and found every homeless feral dog, and then rescued them and turned them into a giant pack of dogs that followed me everywhere. I was their alpha. I was their leader. They looked to me as though I was the person in charge, and it was great. I spent approximately 10 gold a day buying meat and feeding them, and we had a caravan of wagons that carried all their food from one place to the other. But when I looked at somebody and was just like, yes, see the 40 wolves and the 100 dogs outside town? Yeah, they're mine. They love me. Do not fight me. Why? Because I will just look this way and go, see that person? And all the dogs will just turn, look at him, and go, kill. And then watch all my.
As Kai goes invisible.
Sorry. Mongoose, you there, buddy?
Yeah. Kai came back faster last time, so I was expecting him back by now.
Yeah. I was looking at my phone here.
I bought some
know,
two-part
man.
epoxy resin recently. Been playing with that.
You like resin?
Yep. All the rats I gave you had some resin on the bases, so not a big surprise.
Saw that.
Well, I like giving miniature special bases, and I want to, when I do my Skaven, I'm going to give them all sewer bases, so I figured good practice to give your sewer bases. Not to mention, I seen a video online. Oh, cut the top off a miniature base and then glue some card onto the bottom, and then you have a perfectly good vessel. It's like, why not just flip the thing upside down?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Even if you're doing it for wargaming purposes, the base is still the same freaking size. Yeah, my sister gave me. What the fuck is this damn thing called? It's a mini Versus or whatever. I don't know. It's a little ball that comes with like miniature stuff in it. She likes making little like miniature food, miniature things like that. I find it's the perfect size and shape to just like do a resin pour. Problem is it tends to spread out the top a little bit. It makes it hard to pop. If you put the top back on, it makes it hard to get it back off. But the main reason why I'm using these for this, they come with little legs, so they're perfect for just like using for decorative stands or something like that. Of course, as is, it just is a paperweight too. So.
Did you grow up with a train set or no?
Ish. I didn't actually grow up with it. My grandmother had the Thomas the Choo-Choo train set, and I played with that a few times as a kid. In fact, I think I was the only one that did.
I did a lot of train stuff when I was a young kid. It was pretty all right. It was pretty fun. Learned a lot about crafting and kit bashing and such.
Yeah, and
I hear Kai bitching about it. I I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only recently got into terrain and that kind of stuff. I actually find doing terrain and basing to be a little bit more fun than the actual painting of miniatures, interestingly enough. Like I've discovered a pretty fun technique for making like a. It's not smooth ice; it's cracky, disgusting ice. But if you take pink insulation and like enamel or lacquer, clear gloss, makes this really nice. Actually, I think I sent you some of those pieces.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, so you and I've discussed this before. In fact, I am right at this moment in time. I'm getting ready to do a resin pour for an underwater scene with a fish.
Nice.
In fact, if I didn't roll a dice right away, that was because I was probably gluing something down during the game.
That guy came back.
Hey, guy.
Hello?
How long was I out?
About 3 minutes.
Okay, cool. I was talking for the whole time and not paying attention to the screen. God, I feel stupid as shit for doing like that.
Hey, that's no worse than like earlier when we ran across a golem. My first thought, oh, that shatter spell Janet wanted to play with earlier would be perfect. Then I got told no. It's like,
No, it
well,
won't.
I don't. I shouldn't presume like that. That's the part where I feel stupid. It's like I should know better than to presume.
Sure.
Yeah, you don't have to presume it. But you should also know better that. But then again, let somebody who's never encountered something before experience the joy of encountering something for the first time.
Yes.
I think it's the one thing that a lot of us old players don't do very well. We don't like. We all had our first run in with a monster that we've never known, and now we know them all. Like, oh, it's this. Hey, look out for this. Watch this. It's always someone's first time doing something. And you should never deprive somebody who it's their first time encountering something by spoiling it for them. Let the spellcaster who stares at the iron golem and be like, I got this. Magic. Oh shit. Magic didn't work. Let the guy who walked up to the stone golem with a sword and be like, I got this. Bing! I don't got this. Don't stop them from doing something dumb. Like, that is the greatest moment ever. Okay, I guess I've had a lot of luck recently. In the last decade by running for high schoolers and college kids who don't play at game stores, who didn't play with old people. So when they went into D&D and Pathfinder and Seven Seas, and they ran into a monster that I ran, I looked at the teacher, my friend, who's a veteran at playing this, and told him, do not tell the kids anything. We don't tell them anything. We don't tell them what monster by its name. We don't know its abilities. The kids get to experience the monsters for the first time. They get to figure out how to fight these things. So when a bunch of undead zombies show up, they have to figure out how to fight them. If something new happens, they have to figure it out because we don't give them access to the monster manuals. They can look them up online on their own, but they don't know them like we know them. They don't know the golems like we know them. So when I drop a glass golem at them, well, they don't know what a glass golem is yet. They don't know what a gem dragon or a shadow dragon is yet. When they ran into their first beholder, they didn't know what they were about to walk into, and it was the most glorious moment. Like these days, if I ran for anybody, y'all would be like, "Oh, it's a beholder." We now know, like, you all know what a beholder is. You're all going to be like, beholder," and then suddenly all the above board table talk starts, and we all come up with plans on how we're going to handle this, and somebody's spoiling it for the one person who's never encountered that monster before, and then that player will only know, oh, okay, the monster has this, but when you have a group of people who've never encountered that monster, and you get to go push it out there, and the one person who knows, and you give them that look as a GM and say, "Shut your fucking whore mouth. Don't say a goddamn thing." Let them. Yeah?
We actually had an experience like that earlier today.
Okay.
We were crossing over a chasm that we knew was to the negative plane.
Okay.
Negative energy
Plane. Okay.
plane.
Well, we got attacked by shadows. Not a big surprise. We dealt with them. And then as we were crossing, we have big orange eyes stare at us. And before anybody could react, our resident barbarian threw a vial of holy water between the eyes.
Fuck yeah!
Which, come to find out, it was then some sort of purple dragon.
Fuck yeah! See, that's the cool part. I mean, I guess I got in late, so I only caught you guys fighting the golem and trying to explain to Jan, don't use spells on it. And I'm like going, no. Let the spellcaster do something. If their innate first reaction is to do something, you don't learn when someone tells you don't do it.
Nope.
You only know because someone told you not to do it. You don't know. You haven't done it yet. You haven't failed yet. Because failure is the best way to learn. It teaches you. A sucking chest wound tells you to slow the fuck down. Like, did you die? If the answer is no, because if the GM is being a good GM, a fun GM, the one who's going to leave you a memory, he's not going to hit you with the disintegration beam first. He's going to hit you with something else so you know it's coming. And if everybody who knows plays defensive, but the one person who doesn't does something stupid and cool, let them have their moment to go, big, oh shoot, I might be in over my head. And I know that the instinct that some of us have is, I'm going to be a dick, and then totally, hey, that one player smacked the stone golem with their sword and didn't do anything. The spells bounced off of it, and oopsie doodles. And then we go, and now the monster one-shots you. And you're like, no, do other things with it. You don't have to power attack all the time, guys. You can do cool. And I saw that Bruce did that. And it was cool hearing, like, here's it sweeps around with people, and it knocks people about and throws them around, and that's cool. If you got the invincibility and the toughness, do fun things. Let the party, feel the pain and suffering of, like, I've been hit and thrown into a, throw them across the room and let them cough and hack. Let the cleric run over there and patch them up while the other one, let it be we all read the goddamn comic books and we watch cartoons and we act and we do shit. But then when we get a chance to play on the tabletop, we don't actually play like the shit we want. We all imagine, like, man, it would be cool to, like, play a He-Man game, but we don't run He-Man. Like, oh man, you know what would be really cool is this big fight, and and Skeletor knocks the fuck out of He-Man. He goes, and sorry, Man at Arms. He goes across the chamber and hits a wall, and he's stunned for a round or two. Run more of that. Run more things where it could be a fun thing, rather than simply he hits you for all your hit points, and now he hits you for all your hit points. Like, where's the fun in that? Well, sometimes that is fun. You need to be able to show instill terror in somebody, but that's why you have hirelings, where it's like, and your hireling warrior goes running out there and squish. Oh fuck! I mean, hell, that's even from the Odyssey, where it's like, hey, best friend, he goes off there and gets completely crushed by the Cyclops. Well, fuck, and that shit happens. But too often we just run so optimal, at maximum optimal, and we're going in there, we're going to do as much damage as fast as possible, hardest hitting as humanly possible, and the GM's like, oh, I gotta hit hard too, so that way it's fun. Like, nah, do some cool shit, throw players around, knock them towards cliffs or off buildings, make them use their cool grappling abilities, all this fun shit. Make the combat fun and more interesting. When your players are hiding behind terrain, blow away part of the terrain so they realize that, oh shit, can't hide here for much longer. Let that one player who bought his 50 caliber and is doing his best Bert impression, going, I could kill this guy behind the wall. Bam. Yeah. Way to go, Bert! You killed him, and our cheap. Have the fun. Let something stupid happen, because the game is way more fun when stupid shit and more fun gets to be had. And I think by letting players by running monsters more and more interestingly, allows your players by making the combats longer and more interesting, by letting the monsters do cool stuff, it lets the players have more breathing room to do cool stuff and have a cool game and have a more interesting game, where it doesn't have to be simply, well, the only way I'm viable is if I buy this bionic rig where I walk into battle with 4 heavy crossbows, and that's and self-loading heavy crossbows. That's the only way I'm going to do enough damage to be able to keep up with combat. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a cool no, bring cool shit. Let the game become more fun. Just that's why I've walked away from enough tables where I'm just like, this is optimization 101, boring. Okay, walk away from the table. Don't need to be here, because is the story good? No, remember, we're not here for story. We're here to play the game. Walk away. I'll walk away. But if I find a table where the story is cool and we're having some really cool, awesome abilities, where it's where I'm going to go last, the villain's floating, cool. I take a rope, make a lasso, and I lasso the villain, tie it to his chair, and then kick the chair out the big stained glass window behind him, and let the chair drag the boss to out of his own castle. While is the boss gonna be dead? Well, he's gonna fall about 100 feet to the bottom of the ground, but will he be dead? Probably not. What are we gonna do? Run. Why? Because the boss has been taken care of for the next 4 or 5 rounds. We can now go somewhere else, and because we won the fight is over. Well, it's not dead. No, we just threw the Emperor out a window. He's now lying there on the ground, bleeding. He's not dead, or if he's dead, his clerics are going to res him. Well, how do we should solve the problem and finish the fight? And I'm like, no, we're not ready for that fight. But we could but the lasso chair, the lasso throne problem solved the problem. Now we can run the fuck away. We can go somewhere else. We can escape. Do something. Besides fight to the death. We got a solution. Problem solved. Campaign can move forward. Story's now interesting.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm dying. Ugh. But that's the fun part. You can have more fun with the game and do cool and do interesting things. And ultimately, that's the whole point, is to do something fun and interesting. I know that that's not really a mechanically sound thing. You really can't go put your finger on what is fun, what is mechanically, how do I do that? How can I ensure that? You really can't.
No.
But you can just make for a good experience. I can't tell you what a good book is until I've read it, until I've done it. Oh, we lost Bruce. I see that restreams are great.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, just your turn. That's all.
No problem. We all drop.
We're kind of approaching 2 hours, and
Yeah.
I think next time we talk, we should probably talk about step-by-step instructions on what you need for your railroad trestle.
Possibly. How to use plastic in a good false stone facade.
Oh, great idea.
Tune in for our terrain production stream.
I have become a convert to. Oh crap! You can't see it there. There we go.
What's this?
Nice.
Off the mold.
Is that good stuff?
Oh yeah, it's basically plaster with some fibrous components in it. I'll take a picture.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Here we go. Ah, crap. Let's see.
Get the light back.
There we go. You can kind of see. That's just me taking it and splatting it against the. Damn, that's hard to see.
Okay.
But it's so fibrous, it just naturally makes this really rough
Really tough?
texture. Yeah.
Okay. Require a lot of water to make use of?
It does require water, but not nearly as much as you would think. In fact, if anything, I've overwatered it a few times.
Okay. And get some sleep earlier tonight.
Yeah. Everybody, we'll be back here in 2 weeks to talk about things. Look forward to seeing you all then. My name is Bruce. Thank you for showing up and being part of this great stream. If you have any questions for Kai, please put them in the comments. We will read them aloud at the start of every episode.